504 station wagon. My every blessed day, right? When he closes from work by 4 p.m., he comes home, he takes lunch, and then he takes his car key and goes from Adekiti to Ilesha every blessed day. As in, when I say every blessed day, I mean every blessed day. And then the people at the motor park already knows. They'll be like, oh, OGM, Otikoja, Oshimari Moto. He's usually the last person. And then when he goes and comes back like that, he uses that money for food stuff. That's the other things we cannot produce at home. And even then, we will produce our own gari, our own lafu, our own ogi, our own palm oil, plenty things we produce by ourselves. Then the other ones that we cannot produce, he uses that kabu money to buy it, right? And that was how we survived. Actually, when I was preparing this stuff, I didn't plan to talk about it. But somehow in the course of the program, I just felt I was going to bring out 2 persons to x-ray their tree. Now, I really don't know if times were harder then. I don't know. They used to say it was harder. But even now, I don't. Because I'm saying that because I really don't know. Because things are really hard now. Super hard. Yeah. But then they will say it was hard. And then Popsy will reserve his salary to pay school fees and do, because we were 5 and he was a widower, you know. And my dad was a widower for a long time. So he will reserve the salary for school fees and the other things. He will use the kabu to fend for food. He will use the bayek. He knows how he used to compartmentalize all of those stuff. Make my teeth no come out. Praise the Lord. Now we are here. This is our time. Our turns to become parents. Our turn to be responsible. Let me go back to my scripts. Like I said, I'm meant to open, bring us into a discussion. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do anything. Maybe I'm a doctor, let me just face my medicine practice. But I'm here to announce to us that we can do a lot of things. Yoruba people will say, that kind of thing. We probably have not gotten to that level of eye-opening. I want us to look at some scriptures. My timekeeper already signaled me that the time is almost over. Please, someone should open to Isaiah chapter 66, verse 12. Another person should open to. Please, if you've opened that Isaiah, let me know. Okay. Behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like the flowing stream. All right, thank you, sir. What version was that, sir? KJV. Okay, does anybody have any other version? My own version says we extend prosperity to her. Peace, prosperity. Okay. 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 Thank you. This version talked about peace and prosperity. Now we're talking about we all pay them with Jesus, and then you can collect your stuff. So when you want to pay your landlord, you still pay them with Jesus. When you need to do some stuff for your children, we still pay with Jesus. We need money, even more than unbelievers, if I would say. A believer needs more money because there are some places that are cast in stone that our monies must touch. This program we are holding now, a lot of people gave to make it happen, as small as it may seem. If they were not believers, do you think they tell you, oh, this one is a sin? As a believer, I want to know you know what is a sin and what is not a sin. That's your cup of tea, actually. But then we can, God is saying he's going to give us peace and prosperity. A river. Have you ever imagined what a river is like? Rivers are usually, even the smallest of rivers are still big, right? For it to qualify to be a river, it has to be big. And the smallest of rivers are still big. They are all light, right? Now, one of the reasons why a river is a river and it does not dry up easily is the fact that there are many sources. There are many streams. There are many flows of water into the river. We can begin to ask ourselves as we are seated, our salary. Which other way? I used to laugh about something that as an adult, I don't get to see people to dash me money. Especially as a married woman. Before you go see person dash you money, you do like this. Till you get, people don't dash adults. Unless the people that you're, and I'm sure some of us, we cannot beg. Not because you don't need money, but you look at yourself, you look at the amount you want to beg. Each of us would rather just languish in whatever than begging. So if begging is out of your source, which other source? Pastor Tunji, I know you're a salary earner. So aside your salary, I'm not saying you should tell me. In how many other ways does money come into your account? They are critical. I was going to say that your gifts, your talents, your skills, your education, your trainings, your experiences, your exposures, your opportunities, and so on. If you want to write, you may want to write. Your gifts, your talents, your skills, your education, your trainings, your experiences, your exposures, your opportunities are all possible streams of income if you know how to go about it, if you know how to monetize it. Till tomorrow, coaches will continue to multiply, and some of these coaches are making a fortune, as in fortune. The billions they cannot make in their product or service business, they are making it in selling, what do they call it, digital courses, online, whatever. And I will close this session before we go to the full gist. I will close it with this. If one of your channels of income suddenly closes, how would you be affected? Right? That's a question. Keep it on the side. The other one I will say is, God will never leave you stranded. It is not a prayer, it is proven. God does not leave his own stranded. Ask you what you have in your house. Just like that widow. You remember the story of that widow? We don't have time. I had it here, we would have looked at it. For a widow to stand up to go and meet club member of the late spouse. They said the husband was Arawan Woli and he's a member of the prophet's group. And she went to go and meet to say, you see, for a widow to do that, I'm sure she must have thought to the right, thought to the left, front, back. She does not know where else to turn to. And that was why she did that. And we all know how the story ended. What did the man ask him? The man said, tired. He does not know how to address her situation, only to ask her, what do you have in your house? She said, nothing. Except, and the man said, except, no. And then we know the miracle. Praise the Lord. So begin to search yourself. What do I have? Is there an experience? Is there a talent? Is there a skill? Is there an exposure? Just anything. And then God can begin to direct us in the line to toe. Praise the Lord.
Somebody will say, is that the best you can do? Let me start by catching some cruise with our lead speaker. The first time I met you was 2004, 2005. And you barely changed. And, small people with big contents, you don't know what they are loaded with until they hold the mic. But I'm trying to look at this side also. Is it spiritual? It is scriptural. But I think she has scripture the whole matter. Because I was thinking of that widow of the prophet, and then she talked about it in my spirit, like, oh, God has confirmed it, so I already have something to, Okay, so seated already is Sister Ifedolapo Fajimi, the co-founder of Grace Aeon Investment Limited. Please give it up for her. On the panel list, I have another beautiful, wonderful lady in the house, a professional with the corporate industry. Please put your hands together as I welcome Sister Mobaji Esther Bangoye. Sister Mobolaji Esther Bangoye. I think with the name Esther, she's probably a queen, but I don't know if Timothy is a king. Okay. Thank you. Please use the clap to, Okay, I have introduced assistant panelists. Don't worry, we'll come to that assistant panelist with time. Let me also welcome to the podium or the platform. This time around is a he, so that I will not suffocate in the midst of ladies. Mr. Olawole Olatiodronita Owole Olawole Ipujuni. Please jam your hands together for our own fair-skinned Elijah brother. Okay. Let me start by introducing myself for the sake of those who don't know me. But before I go, I would love somebody to stand by the camera so that there will be focus on each speaker per time. I wouldn't know if I should introduce or say some further things about our panelists, but I think I should blow my own trumpet first. I am Oluwarotimi, say coach on two sides. I'm a sports coach, I'm a therapist, I'm a trainer, I am a fitness coach too, and at the same time I am a life coach. Now, I haven't said all that. I want to begin to ask me which of these things bring money. Don't worry, when we get there, you will know which of these things bring money. While our lead speaker was speaking, something told me as their father, what is your father doing? Alufa. Certain realities in the garden of the Lord. Money sometimes looks like it's a major problem. But some of us still feel like it's not a problem if you really understand why you are where you are. But this is the field, some soil, and probably eventually germinate. Let's be deliberate, let's be realistic. So we have had so much from our lead speaker. Brother Ikujuni worked with Cashcraft Asset Management. In case you don't know, he's a graduate of the University of Ilorin. He has some Fulani breed inside his blood. Don't worry, he won't find me for that. He worked there between 2016 and 2012. That's about 6 to 7 years. And he then went on to start a retail business in electronics in the year 2014. Two questions quickly. Why did you venture into retail business? Secondly, what happened between 2012 and 2014? You're welcome, Mr. Kujuni.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, like our mommy said, my dad is all-round person. We call him Matthew Alajo. He has a Isuzu. We call him Matthew Taylor. He's a tailor. Matthew Ologun. He has a patient medicine store, and like that. So I learned some of those things from him. While I was in secondary school, I was the one helping him to stay in the shop. So even starting from my GSS 2, I started my own business alongside, even in his shop. There was time in this. I was the the monitor or the school prefect, then class prefect, and the money that they gave to me from noise making, I started using it to buy. Then people were coming to be playing draft and all this. And I discovered that when they come, he used to send me to go and buy ogogoro for them, send me to go and buy cigarette, send me to go and buy. So those things that they were sending me to go and buy, I started buying them and be reselling them. So from there, I have that idea. Before you know, it became something big. So that idea was there. And when I finished, while I was working with the Casper, like I said, we had issues when during this economic crunch, and our salary was not forthcoming. It was like issue of whatever we get at the end of the month, they will remove 40% for the business of the company, and then the remaining 60%, they prorate it as salary. So at times, somebody that is having like 120,000 aside, then, in fact, the last salary I went home with was 15,000 naira. So I was like, I cannot continue with this. So immediately what I did first was, I and my wife were in the same firm. So I got some money, I borrowed some money. I first put her in a business. In fact, she was not ready to resign. I wrote her resignation letter, and I submitted. When they called her from office, we saw your resignation letter. She couldn't say no. So we started, and that was how we started. So from that period, she was the one doing the business. Then we had to relocate to Ibadan. So when we came to Ibadan, I was listening to what can I do. So I have to use, look, what should I do? That was then I came to Bro Tayo. So I stayed with him for like 4 months. I studied with I work in the electronics business. What the light. So, and after that, I just told him that, let me be your representative from Ibadan. Instead of coming every week, going to my family, I will be your representative from Ibadan. He agreed. And after some time, I said, no, let me be a freelance, so that I can also add some other products aside what they light. So that it will not be, when you come, it will not be only what they light I'm selling. And that is how it started.
Okay, I think I should, please, let's give it to him. Now let me be the master of my own microphone and crave the indulgence of my panelists to share the other one amongst themselves. Now, Mrs. Esther Mobolaji Bangoye, Esther Bangoye, as a legal practitioner who majors in human resource, what response would you give to establishment and lack of proper remuneration or poor timing with remuneration? Taking a cue from what Mr. Ikujone has just shared with us. He was working, expecting that at the end of the month, he will go home with certain amounts. But for somebody to be closing a job with 15,000, do you think that is okay to manage in light of entrepreneurship?
I didn't get that last part.
Now, for somebody to go home with 15,000, do we say you should be contented and still struggle on, or you should just begin to think of side hustle?
All right. Okay, with regards to remuneration, I'll say that, okay, the company I'm working with, since I've been working with them, I do tell the employees something that if there's one thing I know about them, they may not be good in other areas, but when it comes to paying salaries, you can be so sure that if they delay, at least on the last day of the month, they will pay. In fact, it doesn't get to the last day of the month most time, but let's say anything happens, they will pay. And then maybe with
Okay,
regards...
before you go on, can I apply, please? Okay.
You may not be okay with the remuneration. Okay, and then with regards to... Okay, so let me just talk about that before I go to a low remuneration. So I would just say that if you know as a business person that you won't be able to pay your... I think it has to do with the fear of God. If you know that your company is struggling and you can't meet up with your responsibility of paying your workers because they have their own responsibilities. Someone wake up in the morning, come to work, they're spending on transport, they have children to take care of if they are married. Even if they don't have children to take care of, for you to be working, you need the money for something. But let's forget the fact that when people are going to work in Lagos, we are all well dressed, like we don't need the money, you know. But the fact is that we need the money. The money is part of the reason you wake up early in the morning to go. So if you know that you can't meet up, you should sit with your management team. If you will reduce, it's better you reduce the number of employees, reduce your manpower. It may not be fair on some people, but in the long run, it's better to let them go and look for other jobs than keeping people there. They are working, you're not paying them what they're entitled to. I think it has to do with fair. And sometimes it's not as if the company has really gotten to the point that they can't pay at all. Because you will see I've heard stories of employees complaining that their guards are going for vacation, taking care of their children, while you are holding salaries. So that's why I said, if you have the fear of God, you will see it as being important that you should pay these people. In fact, you will put them ahead of whatever vacation or whatever you're doing. So it actually has to do with the fear of God. When you have a business, a company, having the fear of God will actually determine a lot. In fact, it determines a lot of decisions that are made in the company if you have woman's feeling. Then, with regards to remuneration, okay, I think probably because I'm not the top management, but at least I'm part of those that made decisions there. So I understand that it could be kind of difficult to, considering what is happening in the country. The company is spending more to keep the company running, and we understand the fact, because even HR, I tell them HR too needs money, because most times they look as if HR doesn't need money. So HR needs money, but we also understand that the company is going through a lot. But if they try as much as possible to meet up, I have an example of someone that as much as possible, the company, you see them revealing salaries, at least within this year, they've revealed the salary, try to give bonuses and all of that. So it's actually... I would say ties to having the fear of God. Exactly. So having the fear of God, knowing that these people are going through a lot, as the company is going through a lot, and trying to manage the situation.
All right. Before I ask you to transfer the mic, still hold on to it. I look at a brief introduction about you here, and I see that you are in the construction industry. And we're talking about, see, this entrepreneur, Nagrama. The points here in our side hustle, and from the definition our lead speaker gave us, it's a side job, side gig to gain an additional income to supplement your main income. Now, real estate is a big deal in Nigeria today. Has it crossed your mind that you could be getting some money from real estate on your own, not on a professional ground? You have the floor. Real estate, maybe?
Well, as a lawyer, I think an aspect of law is real estate. I have friends that are involved in that, but you actually need the skill of marketing, you get. So if you're going to be marketing, let's say luxury apartments, you really need a lot of skill. You need to go to the right place and all of that. So I'll just say personally, I don't think I'm really looking to marketing real estate because it's actually a lot. Forget about the aesthetics you see on IG. I know friends that their IG page is looking bam, but they've not sold anything since they started, you get. So it goes beyond that. It has to do with you meeting the right people, having the right connection, and all that. So me, I've not really seen myself in that space of selling real estate or this thing. We have an aspect of the company that does that.
Don't worry, I understand.
All right.
I've actually taken something from there. Now let's come back to Mr. Ikujuni. Now that you are into electronics, that initially didn't come to thought until you started having strain in your finances, especially your remuneration. Today, do you have any other thing you do aside electronics?
I think we're discussing one of our young men fellowship meeting one time. I said maybe because I stayed in Igbo land for some years, they like the natural Igbo man. Or general merchandise. Yes, general merchandise. I've come to a point that if I see, let me just put it this way: I do anything that I see that will bring money. If I see you want to sell
as
your
you are
bag,
seeing me now, are you seeing me that I'm bringing money?
If you check my status at times, you will see when I advertise cars.
Okay.
I sell buildings, if I discover that this person wants to sell it, and if I come in, I can get my little cut from it. So I join it.
I'm going to move now to our lead speaker, Mrs. Fajimi. It means now that initially, Mr. Ikujuni, I'm coming over to you now, and I wanted to make this point there. Initially, he wasn't getting his salary as I you and as expected, so there was a need for him to move out and move into something else. He pulled out completely, he took a break, or he had a natural detour. He went to serve as an apprentice or a mentee in an established retail organization, and then he launched his own outfit. Having launched his own outfit, this man is still looking for other sources of income. Do you want to give us practical explanation as to why that is with us as human beings?
I remember giving an example of my dad. As a man or woman, now you know the bukata wey dey your head, and it's somebody will say something. He will say somebody that is pursuing something, or that something is pursuing. You can't compare them with a regular person. So it's either you are pursuing something or something is pursuing you. Whichever way, there is a pursuing.
Okay.
And it's the volume of what is pursuing you that will determine what you want to do.
Okay, now that we are holding on to that keyword pursue or pursuing, whether you are pursuing something or something is pursuing you, let me now say that from the audience, you can begin to put your questions together from the things you said and some of the things that people have said while I roll out some questions. Now, I'm going to be sharing some personal experience. Okay, we are on record and we are global because the internet is a global village. And I don't think there's anything I shouldn't be able to say. At a particular point in time, I've been a priest now for over 15 years. For over 15 years. And at different times, I've had needs. One peculiar thing about me having needs was not just about my family. I saw that as a society man, as a community image. There are contributions you have to make that add up to your imagery as a human being. You are not only Baba or Olara, you are also a person in the community. So there are expectations of you and I, where we live, where we work, within the circle we belong to. So I used to have a Sienna space bus. Okay, I crossed the line as space bus. Okay. And I sat down one day and I said, why should this Sienna lounge in my compound when I can actually do something with it? On Sundays when I need to go on pastoral assignments, I'm the fine boy pastor that tell you, oh, Father, the Lord bless you. And I always say, during the week, there is a Jaco Osla. And what I do sometimes is that when I get used for delivery, I have dealings with farmers, those who buy feed, and then what I do is that when you have me to pick up your feed, let me know, and then sometimes I go myself to pick the feed from the feed mill, I deliver to wherever, and then I get money. There was a time that I used to be very skeptical because I feel like my members, not me now, but my members, I feel embarrassed that I will have one who unje and all that. I will ask myself, this unje behind on it, but that's not what I'm going to actually. Eventually, I decided to do my transport business in 2 ways. There are some deliveries I don't do myself. This was my business plan. I think I used to put 30% for vehicle maintenance. I share 70%, and it was a full deal most nights. The time that I own it myself, 70% below is on my own. And at that time, I was comfortable. I wasn't looking for more. Now, at the time I was doing this side also, I wasn't doing it because I needed more money, but I was doing it from the perspective that I wanted to render that service, and I felt like it was going to add value to me. Having extra money that I could keep. So if I could do them regularly outside my salary. Now, this could be side also. I have said that I understand that sometimes people come to you with their problem and be filled. There are times that you need to signal to your wife and say, what do we have in the house? Bring something. And there are times that you probably have not also gotten your own salary. For priests, for pastors who are in this place today, what would you say from your own practical experience? What would you advise them to do, considering the importance of pastoral job, looking at financial responsibility? You are not just a pastor, you are also an image in the society. Who would advise pastors to take side of it? Don't forget that I'm a pastor. I have given you my own confession of some side hustle and how it has been put. You have a problem.
Thank you so much, Reverend. I would say the truth of the matter is, thank God we got your side of the gist. You are a pastor, a reverend. We are. I would say that a present day pastor, you just have to have more streams of income. Not even our setting. We all know our situation, so no need to talk about it. If you would have regard amidst your congregants, if you will be able to live at least a responsible life, be able to minimally cater for your household, be able to minimally remain a little for members, at least, even if it's only the ones that come to your demands, being able to contribute. So back in the days in my own church, our pastor was a tent-making minister. He's a prof. He was the dean of a university faculty. Whenever there is a need arising in church, our pastor will be the first person. 500K. And as the pastor is going to cost us 500K. The next thing you will hear from him is, myself and my family will be contributing 200K or 300K. And the next thing you will hear is, if you are led of God to be a part of this project, please come out, let's hear what you want to contribute. And then you see congregants fighting to come out. But imagine the case was, pastor has announced and he said, whoever wants to support, pastor does not have anything to add. Imagine how it's going to be. So in this present day church, a minister needs more than being a minister. You need more than depending on your wife. There are a lot of things that you can do, actually, a lot. God will help us.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we please give our hands for Mrs. Fajina? Okay, let me come back to the corporate space. Our legal personnel and human resource manager. My little understanding about HRM is that as an organization, you must understand that the human capital is about the most important part of your organization. Even though sometimes we invest more on other outfits of the organization. However, today, where we have majority of our staffs dealing into some other streams of income, would you say, or have you seen, noticed or observed any interference in job performance and side hustle? Or maybe conflicts? Okay.
the way the country is. When some companies are trying to meet up, there's really no way they can really meet up because things keep changing every day. There are some that keep managing. So it can be better, we say that we are there yet. There are some companies that are actually really doing well. It's just like an accountant. You know the money, you know what is going out, and then you see your own salary, to available salary is not commensurate with what you know the company is making money, but they are not ready to remunerate. I think it's just okay, I'm sorry I'm making reference to my company now. I'm working in a company that we have less tax rates, we have Nigerians. And then you see the Nigerians are even doing more work than those expatriates are doing. And then they do most of the work, but they are well remunerated. In fact, they have official vehicle, they have...
Let's close the button on that. Some of these things are systemic error. Now, let's go back to Mrs. Akimi. You used to be in the finance industry, the banking system, and you were there for how many years?
8 years.
Wow. 8 years is enough to take the child through primary school and get some skills for secondary school. Now, between the banking industry and what you do now, what would you say have changed?
There are two different points. Let me say this before.
Okay, let me give you some specifics. You have the floor. Let's look at what changed financially and with your time allotment, your time control for self and for other things.
Thank you. Let me chip into our discussion. I think my opinion now, I think no salary can ever be enough. But then that's my opinion. Yoruba people say, if your salary today is 10 million naira monthly, you will have responsibilities that will be more than that. Alright. So my work experience, so I was doing banking, precisely a customer facing person. I was a marketer. I was in retail banking, retail and commercial banking, and now I'm in agribusiness. Precisely, I do fish, and then I'm still market facing. Currently, I'm in processing and sales. Changes, yes, of course, in the bank. I was earning a not small, let me not say, it wasn't a big salary, but at least it wasn't small. Yeah. Just like someone in the middle, with what you're earning, or with what I was earning, I could live a decent life. Now, of course, it comes with its own perks, access to this, access to that, you could get loans, you could throw your checks around, you could walk into any store, major stores, pick stuff, some credit, pay later, you could pick clothing if you want some credit, pay later, you could pick whatever, you can travel there from credit and pay later, a whole lot of stuff. Now, into what I do, it was as soon as I started from the scratch because there was a major error. Time did not permit us, I would have shared it. A major error. I was already doing it while I was in the bank, but I was just doing it for let me have money to spend.
Before we go on, may I request a special attention from our audience on this task she's about to bring forth. She was doing it, but she really didn't pay attention to it. So that's going to be like asking you, how did you translate a side puzzle to a major income source? Please go on.
Thank you. So while in the bank, I noticed that because you've thrown a lot of checks around and you've had a lot of things tied to your salary, maybe max 2 weeks after pay, you are broke. And then you'll now be looking for money. All these sorts of salary bankers, they tell you, no worry, I'll give you pay 60% So there was always money to spend, right? So I figured it that I can start selling this fish. So that means when I earn my salary, I'll take a portion of the salary and use it to process. I can't spend fish, right? That means when my salary is exhausted and there's no money anywhere again, I will be forced to sell the fish and get money to run. And that was why I was doing that business. I wasn't doing it because I was going to do it someday. No. Don't forget that that's part of the definition we gave. If I had known I was going to do fish as a business, I would have paid attention from the start. So, but it happened that I needed to do fish.
Maybe I should make you address a bit from the experience you have shared and from the current reality. Would you advise us to take serious whatever thing you have by the side, whether or not our job is going to continue, whether or not it's going to pay us well?
Yes. I would say that whatever side also you want to engage in, yes, the sole aim is to make some extra bucks. But I would also say that we should have it at the back of our mind, mid-term, long time, to make it into a business. Like we should start thinking that if this thing becomes a business for me, is this still something I love to do? How can I go about it? Because those are some of the things that will determine how we run it from the start. I had colleagues that were into side hustles then, also with the bank, but they were already thinking big in their head. Even though they were still earning salary, but they were already thinking big. Some of them even already employed staffs. And now, when I look at those businesses, they become very big businesses. Okay. Because from the start, it was in their head.
Thank you very much. One perception that I have about people going to side hustle, this perception has some validation, but I can't say to what degree. So I'm going to come to Mr. Kujuni. People go into side hustle because they want to make more money to meet their daily spending. Would you advise people to have side hustle to meet their daily needs, or they should have more focus on side hustle for savings and investment? When you're going to give an answer, I want you to give instances and examples. Before you provide answers to that question, I want to know how many of us would love to ask questions from our panelists. Question? Because we want to prepare to go to the next session. Yes, I've seen one. Any other? Okay, we'll just take that one question and then I will close that. Yes, you can go on.
Yes, I would say that it can be for either or both. It depends on your earnings. If your earnings is able to take care of your needs, you can use your side hustle as an investment. But if your earnings cannot handle your needs, you know that every you still use your side hustle to pay your needs. But that is why the concept is that just add it up every time. It doesn't stop somewhere. I like how morning ended that time. Experiences, exposures, whatever opportunities that comes our way. I remember while I was in the way, I was helping the church to build the mass. So I was the side man, the main fellowship, because I was the youngest among them, so they committed the project to my hand. So I was doing that till I left the place where the building was at the roofing level. So I was discussing with one of my, big brothers, sometimes ago, and he said, no, it started that there was a woman that said he's an engineer, he's building contractor in Lagos, and he has a project, it's my in-law, that he has a project in Ibadan, he's looking for somebody, and then I help her to But I said, yes, I do that. I have experience. I did not tell her that I only need to help you in one house. I said, yes. I said, I used to know, yes. And she came down, she showed me the project, and lo and behold, from there, she actually thought I had bigger experience. I was talking with somebody a few years ago. He said that, yes, somebody in the US, and I mentioned something like that. It was something like that. I mentioned, I said that, I don't know, I have some friends over there that are looking for associated house. And today, I have to be securities that I'm managing right now. Without just because of the exposure that I have.
Okay. Let me make an addition to what you just said. You know, if I don't know if that is part of your CV, you are not your own boss, you are paying yourself. I don't know if you still update your CV, and I don't know if this part of your experience is in your CV. You know, I sat down one day for about 4 stations where I worked for Methodist Church Nigeria. There is no station where I have not had a capital project, whether renovation or construction from the beginning. Now, I would have loved us to talk about networking, leveraging on connection to building your prowess in entrepreneurship. But now, since we're talking about side hustle as the direct word, now, if building construction was a side hustle for me as a priest, currently where I work, we have a magnificent, a gigantic church project. And if I am to charge the church for supervision, I'll be getting a multiple of 5 what my salary is, because I know what contractors will get, professionals will get. There are times that I use my friends, my proteges, my mentees who are professionals in their fields to leverage on the church work. I have a QS here who used to serve for me as a consultant. Imagine if she was to charge me what she would be charging me. But my own connection, my own relationship helped the church to have opportunity to expand on that project. So we may not be able to ask questions on that, but I want you to know that your network is your net worth. You need to use friendship very well, not selfishly, not in a greedy manner, but you need to look at everybody here. What is, we call her fish lady. What can I get? Imagine I have a CSR program and I know that she has products. How much of your product can you give me? And then I'm not just going to collect our product just because I want to service CSR. I will collect it and also make sure that I market our products. You can see that she has given me something, not cash. She has given me something. It looks like I don't have something to offer her. But as I give you a charge, I have also helped to expose her business. One way or the other, that is the place of networking in entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. In a nutshell, Mr. Akindele helped us to understand that you can do side hustle to sustain your main income. Can we have somebody else answer that? Thank you very much. We have to close in the next 5 minutes. So those hands are seen, I'm not seeing them.
Is this mine?
Yeah,
This one.
Thank you. Before the question itself, I just want to quickly help out one of the questions, or let's say 2, that your panelists attempted. The first one has to do with the HR person that you asked the side hustle conflicts with the work. Definitely, because I was in a corporate environment before, and I serve as an internal control person. So I can, to an extent, say that it does. The aspect she just mentioned was
manage the company time with your side hustle outside. Because there are instances where some people have lost their main job because of side hustle.
exactly. Thank you very much. So we need to clear that. And another perspective is what Madam Fish also said, she said she was in the financial industry, of which I am also. Give her a platform to connect with people, clients, customers, and from there she can access a whole lot of businesses and either the front desk or the way she will from that angle. So, quite a number of how would you encourage them for the fact that Daddy had explained what he was able to do because he had a car? Quite a number of them don't have.
Once I disconnect it.
Thank God we use the word hard. Okay. So Daddy knew the mommy. I really don't support. One of our mommy said the Daddy, since he is a lecturer, can sell books. So what can we do? I'm just standing in. We are going to be very careful. Let me take my brother from behind before I come to the state chairman of the fellowship. Thank you so much, sir. I want to ask. Okay.
No, I was doing that because too much.